Welcome in to Follow Everton, everybody. It's your buddy Domino Chris. It is match day. I feel very, very sick to my stomach and have for, well, really a couple days, but especially today as we welcome in Stevie, my mate. How are you, buddy?
Do I look stressed? I certainly feel it.
A little bit, yeah. It's sort of like a just a melancholy, like another one of those, and I feel the same way. So I'm not blaming you. But
Mm,
what's
mm.
going through your mind? How have you felt all day
Just,
today and yesterday?
thanks, Chris. Good to see you. Good to see everyone who's following us. Got my blue shirt on for work today. Stressful, isn't it? I mean, look, this game and the last game, what, 4 days apart?
Yeah.
Um, but there's so much significance in this little 4 days. That we know that this could literally make or break the season. We pick up 4 points from these two games, and we're kind of okay. We might get safe, and then if we don't pick up any, or we get 1 point, it's not in our favor at all. And I think everyone's woken up today with that
Yeah,
excite,
we're
exciting, nervous feeling where we're kind of this has got to be a famous like. I read a stat earlier, Chris, that this could be the last Goodison night in the Premier League under the lights.
yeah. I don't want to no astray from the negativity today. Not you in
Yeah.
particular. Just I don't even want to think that way. As I bring in Jonathan, before I get to you, John, let me get this on screen. The team news has just come out. We'll get everybody's reaction to it. It's Pickford in goal. It's Godfrey at the back instead of Seamus Coleman, who is not in the squad. I don't like it at all, but get to that in a second. Tarkovsky and Keane, Mikalenko on the left. The Holy Trinity, as Amy says, in the midfield is back with Ghana Gay, Amadou Onana, and Abdoulaye Doucouré. So Onana seemingly fit with McNeil and Iwobi as expected, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. I'm miffed that we're not seeing Nathan Patterson. I know people are a little bit split on what they think of him. In my personal opinion, it's a better shout. Not that it's great, but it's better than Godfrey, given that he is a right back. What say you, John?
Yeah, I like it that Onana's back in. Have a bit more physicality up top. I felt like we lacked that at Palace. We sort of weren't going for it, so hopefully you can bring that in. Doucouré, he's quite strong as well, so hopefully we can start to control the midfield a bit more. And instead of just hoofing the ball up there and trying to clear it, we actually have a bit more control, possession, and move the ball about a bit more. As you say, it's a bit worrying not having Coleman in, and again Patterson to come in. That would have been something nice to see. But overall, I think we just have to stay positive. It's a very hopeful game this is going to be. A lot riding on it, and yeah, there's definitely nervous tensions around.
Steve, I want to ask you because I'm not faulting what Sean Dyche has done in the midfield by any means, because with a healthy Doucouré and a healthy Onana, they have to be in. But our best player last match was pretty much inarguably James Garner, and so to see him dropped back to the bench, not going to say it's surprising, but did you wish they found a way to fit him in there somehow?
Sorry, Jeff. I'm just charging. Sorry, Chris. I'm just charging my phone. It knocked.
Don't ever call me Jeff again, or I will kick you out of this street.
So I'm so used to calling Jeff though.
Oh no, worries, go on.
So listen, I think you raise a good point here. Garner definitely looked like he had a bit of guile to him, and he was able to put some quality into the box that on another day maybe would have resulted in some chances. But I think on this occasion, I think that we needed to accommodate the formula that's worked quite well under Dyche, which is having the energy of Doucouré and Onana in there. And I think under the lights, that'll really help Everton galvanise the team. And I think those three have worked quite well. They certainly played well before the Ramadan period, and I think that did affect us. I know that maybe people played it down, but that was something that was quite key before that Ramadan period. We had that engine room going. But this is the first time, I think, guys, where with Calvert-Lewin is in the team with those three, and it'll be interesting to see how that all sets up. But it's not on paper. I think this is the best team we could have put out.
Yeah, and again, it's you can make the toss up in terms of the left back and the right back and all that, but in terms of our front six, if you like, this was probably the best I could ask for as well. It just kind of, like I said, we saw some positive strides from James Garner. We just in the last couple of matches we haven't seen positivity from very many of our players. So seeing that, I guess, made me think maybe they'll find a way. But having said that, it's just you can't. His natural position is not going to be on the left or the right, so you can't really replace one of the. You can't replace Gano, Nana, or Decore.
I think with
You
Garner,
could-
though, obviously he played very well against Palace, and I would definitely say he was our best player. But
Right.
when you have the options of playing Onana, you sort of just have to play him.
You have
Especially,
to. Absolutely.
I think with this fixture, Everton have got the fewest amount of goals in the whole of the 92. So that's Premiership, Championship, League One, and League Two. And Newcastle have the best defensive record in the Premier League. So I think, yes, playing Garner, he was playing very positive, but I think we need to come at them with a bit of physicality, a bit of strength, a bit of aggression, and we can't just sit back, because if we try and sit out for a draw, then it's just not going to work with us. We actually do have to try and push forward and try and create our chances, and it's not going to be easy by any stretch, but I think bringing Onana in was definitely the right call. We need his aggression and his ability to help drive us.
Yeah, and I'll say this. If Seamus Coleman isn't in the squad, there's something seriously wrong, because Seamus would run through a brick wall for this club, and I think we all know that. I'll be interested to see what Deitch does with the subs. Obviously, the scoreline will have an impact on that. You have Damari Gray on the bench. You have James Garner on the bench. You have Ellis Sims on the bench. So for the first time in a while, at least from what I can think of, maybe you could say this for Palace, but especially for this game, we have some options that we can at least be somewhat optimistic about in the 60th, 65th, 70th minute, whatever it is. And knowing Deitch, it could be the 87th minute for all we know. But the point is, it at least won't be one of those where we just say, we look to the bench and we say, well, we have nobody, right, Steve?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's really not been any strength in depth. I mean, literally, we couldn't fill the bench at times and had to draft in under 21 players. This time, at least, there are options. Let's hope, guys, it doesn't go that far. I think Everton need to play this game like a Merseyside derby at home.
Right.
We need to get at Newcastle, keep it very tight, close all the gaps, play that sort of low block diamond formation. I know it's horrible, but if we did get a draw out this, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because we can go to Leicester and get a win.
If we got a draw, I would absolutely be over the moon with that, because I think this is not a game where we're looking to get the 3 points. Obviously, it's what we need, but I don't think it's one of the... I said this in the post-match of Palace, and I said that was a good result, because we're looking more at Leicester. That's the biggest game that we have, and then Bournemouth if we can get there, and Wolves. But I think this one, especially having just witnessed them shred and demolish Spurs 6-1, they were 5-0 up after 20 minutes. So obviously they are doing extremely well. We're the complete other end of the table. I think a draw would be a very good result. And especially if you look at previous results like Forest yesterday, I think if we don't get battered tonight, I think that would be positive.
I'm going to bring this up real quick, because we actually have a couple of surprises, in my opinion, on the Newcastle side. You have Nick Pope in goal, Kieran Trippier, Shar, Botman, and Target actually on defense. We haven't seen Matt Target in a while, taking the place of Dan Byrne, who is on the bench. And then as you see the midfield there, you see no Anthony Gordon, Alexander Isak also starting on the bench in favor of Callum Wilson, which Everton fans don't want to see Callum Wilson's name. I think we've seen him enough scoring goals against us in the past couple of seasons. But that is somewhat surprising. I'm not sure. I would assume Dan Byrne isn't dealing with an injury. And Murphy, I believe, scored 2 goals for them in the last match. So I'm a little bit surprised by the defense here. Any thoughts?
I think Isaac on the bench is a very important thing for us, because he's been tearing it up recently as well. But if you look at their team, like Almiron, Joe Linton, Wilson, like such a strong team, and they connect so well together. So, I mean, it's a strong team regardless, and obviously they've got the depth to bring those players on. So I think we need to come at them early, and we can't sit back. We have to go for it.
Steve, you got any thoughts on
surprise.
that?
Yeah, no surprise. Gordon not in the lineup. To be honest, I didn't expect him to play, even if he was fit. He'd get so much stick from the Everton fans.
He is on the bench, though.
He's on the bench, but I think that's almost to wind up the Everton fans. I mean, maybe he will come on, but I mean, look, we see this.
I don't think Gordon fits into that team. I think Gordon is worse off than most of those players on the pitch. I don't think he starts.
I'm not scared about Gordon if you think about how many times he started. And
yeah, I'm not worried as well. I'd rather bring him on than Almiron or Joe Linton or Wilson.
Yeah, it's the other players in the team, and the thing that's in Newcastle's favour is massive momentum. But we see it time and time again where a team absolutely hammer. Look at the. Okay, let's take Liverpool v Man United as an example. I know we all hate them, but They won 7-0. The next game, they played awful. I mean, this can happen.
I'm so glad you said that because I was going to bring that up. Go ahead.
And it's optimistic, but I just got this sneaky feeling that I think we can stay in the game.
Well, it wasn't just the fact that they played horrible. They went to Bournemouth and lost 1-0, and this was when Bournemouth were on awful form. That kind of catapulted their rise back up a little bit. And so I'm with you. I'm trying to stay optimistic, and I'm with you. It's a sneaky feeling.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we're going to win, it's going to be very narrow, and if we're going to draw, it's going to be low numbers. 0-0, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1. It's going to be one of those scorelines if we're on the favourable side of this.
I haven't actually felt this nervous for a game in a very long time. I am shitting myself.
This and then Palace last season's the only 2 times I can remember. I can think maybe 2016 against Man United in the semifinal of the FA Cup, but that's a whole different animal. Those are nerves for obviously different reasons. But
I think it's the Forest result. It's turned it up a notch for me.
Yes.
I mean that.
Yeah.
If that hadn't happened yesterday, I would have felt quietly confident that we can just get through this match week, get to the next one, and then relax a little bit and know that we can go to Leicester and get some points. This is massive because I mean the City game. The thing that works in our favour about this match week is that our City obviously beating Arsenal 4-1. That means they can win the league without coming to Goodison and needing to. I
actually thought the same thing. Yeah.
Well, great minds. But this means that I was thinking this morning about that City game. Is it a write-up? No, I don't think it is a write-up because we got points from City away. So if we can do it away, we can certainly do it at home. But you don't want to be relying on games like that. And the games keep running out. Every game's a cup final. I believe there was a coach greeting, like the side actually arrived by coach. Is that correct?
Yeah, a couple of fan groups, specifically the 1878s, requested this a few days ago. And the club obliged, and so a lot from our channel, Ryan and the gang, and Jan and everybody went to the coach greeting, sent pictures and videos over, and it seems like I mean you get goosebumps looking at it. It seems like it has all the feels that it did last season. And
I've been in the thick of that, Chris. I was in the thick of that, and hopefully everyone's experienced it. And my goodness, it really is. It's like. Wow, it's like blue fireworks everywhere. You've got the flames. You can barely see yourself, hear yourself. It's packed in. It's an atmosphere like no other on earth. And I've been pretty much all over the globe to see sporting events from Australia and America and everything else in between. But this Goodison Road greeting can be something to behold, and I hope there's many more. But the key thing to this is that we basically need to play every game from now to the end of the season like a cup final. We can't give them an inch, and if they're not up for this, then that's it. We're not good enough.
Oh well, that's the thing. Yeah, you can't if they're not like you said. If they're not up for it, then we deserve it. Plain and simple.
Chris, do you want to bring in some of the comments?
So I was just about to get to.
I agree with Mark in almost every word he said. He said winning at Leicester will be the key to staying up. Anything tonight will be a bonus. I actually ain't going to be overly gutted if we don't win tonight. I would agree with that. But then the last bit, I feel strangely relaxed about tonight. I couldn't be any more stressed. I would say 90% of the stress I have in life at the moment would be from Everton. And then the one below that as well, Danny says, Onana plays for Belgium, top tier side. Decore was on cusp of France side. Ghana played for PSG last year. We should be competitive. I think the problem with that is when you look at those top sides, you've also got 10 or 11 other players around them who are also top players. And if you look around the Everton team, we just lack the cohesion. We lack the quality that those other sides have. I mean, you're comparing us to like the best in the world there. They are good players individually, but they need to gel. They need to work together. And that's something that I think we lack and we struggle with.
Jimmy says a draw would be an amazing result. A couple of folks in the comments say a draw would be an amazing result. I actually said, I mean, if I have to put a wager, it would be on 1-1. I won't ever, I'll always sit here and say we're going to find a win, especially at Goodison. So I will play the game and say we'll nick it 2-1. But if I had to put a wager on, it would be 1-1. I don't know why. I just have a weird feeling that that's how it would be. I don't know how I would feel, to be honest with you. John, you said you'd like a draw. I don't. I guess it would depend on the nature of the draw. Again, if it goes anywhere like Spurs, you're going to be upset because Spurs were just awful and we should have won that game. But
if we said now you could pick your result and we'd be getting a point from it, I would happily take that. That would put us back above Leicester. It just puts us slightly closer. We'd be 1 point behind between Forest and Leeds, and it would just feel a bit more comfortable. If we don't get anything tonight, it's not the end of the world because Leicester is the big one. But I think as well mentally, it would just put us in the right frame of mind to get anything from this, to then go on and play Leicester. Obviously, the turnaround from Palace is not the longest, but I think we just need to give it all we've got. I mean, looking at it, it's stressful beyond belief.
This is the reason why ibuprofen sold out on the County Road. But
look, when you're
the
17th
not,
and you're
not
sat
something
just
you
above
particularly
the
We're
drop
18.
zone,
Oh, 19.
there's a lot of pressure off of yourselves. You just feel that little bit safer. But if you look at the goal difference, it's not even just the points. Like, goal difference will come into it, and ours is very low.
But it's another example yesterday. I mean, we brought up Liverpool, but I mean, how about Forest? Forest haven't won for 11 matches, and then you get Brighton, who have just been on top form for most of the season, and come in, and Forest didn't batter them by any means, but in the end, they won convincingly. That second half was very convincing for Forest, and it's just a result that you didn't expect at all. Anything could happen.
But the difference is they have goal scorers, so they might be able to nick goals here and there.
Forest don't
have
Forest don't have a prime. I'm not counting Brennan Johnson. I'm not counting Gibbs White. They're decent footballers, decent at best, but they're not pure goal scorers. Forest are very.
They're not, but we just don't have.
I'd give you. I mean, yeah, I don't want to get.
That game could have gone either way.
Brighton missed a lot of chances, and they didn't.
Speaking of other fixtures, tonight is a very important night as well, because Southampton play Bournemouth. Now, if you look at that, that's very big as well, because Southampton are 4 points below us. So if they get a win, we stay where we are.
No, but here's the problem with that. Southampton go to Forest in the next couple of weeks. And so that's where we kind of need Southampton to get their win. Again, we'll drive ourselves nuts doing this because all of a sudden we've become Southampton fans out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is we've got Bournemouth last game of the season. So if they
so you want them to be on the beach. I see.
It kind of brings them back into it. And if you look at their goal difference, they would drop back in as well.
Yeah, but do you want that though? Or do you want Bournemouth on the beach for the last game of the season?
I want everyone
to be dragged
I don't
in.
know.
Okay.
I want as many people close to us as possible.
I wouldn't be surprised if all 5 sides that we see right now are all fighting for their lives on the last day of the season. And I think it's so worrying. The thing is, we were in this position last year and we thought it was the worst thing ever, but we did have Richarlison. And we saw what he did in the World Cup, and he's obviously struggled. Yeah, and Gordon. But we had that threat up front, and there were definitely more goals throughout the side last year, even though probably on paper we're better, but we scored more last year. We were in this position 19 for a long, long time. This year, I think the fact that we dropped into the relegation zone and we're quite deep in the relegation zone right now, well, it feels very deep, feels like swimming in a very deep end. It's going to, if that doesn't galvanize and wake up the side, if that doesn't motivate Dyche to scream and shout before that match and get everyone up, I don't know what will. So this is do or die. This is hearts on the sleeve stuff. This has got to be a famous night under the lights. And if it isn't, then at least let's lose it narrowly so that we've got some pride intact and not get smashed. The fact that Newcastle won 6-1, or could have won more, suggests that match will be replayed a few times. I'm sure a few times by Dyche and his coaching squad, and that will be well communicated across to Everton's squad before the game. If Newcastle have won 1-0, 2-1, or 1-1 or 2-0, this might not have been a wake-up call. We could have been the one that gets absolutely smashed by Newcastle. But I've got a feeling that the fact that Spurs were demolished in that last game, you never see that happen twice. Hopefully, I'm not cursing it, but you don't see
Someone
6-1,
clip
6-1.
that. Someone clip that.
We got it. Yeah.
You don't see 6-1, 6-1. It's not going to be 6-1 tonight, but God knows what it's going to be.
I know. Let me get some of our followers in here. We appreciate everybody. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do so. We've just gone over 2,000. We're very happy with that, but we'd love to hit 10,000. So let's do it today. Why not?
Why don't you bring them up, Chris?
Godfrey on ahead of Patterson. What has he done so wrong? Ian, I'm with you. It's kind of split down the middle. I've found over the last couple of weeks. And again, let's not pretend like Patterson's a world beater by any means. My problem with Ben Godfrey is we've seen this experiment not work so often recently. And it's just a little bit frustrating. Ian also been saying all week we're going to win. I actually said that for the past couple of weeks also, and then reverse course a couple of days ago, I think, because I got really scared. But I don't know.
Scared is a good way to describe it right now.
I know it really is. Roy with a little bit of negativity. These players simply don't have it in them. Yeah, Jeff's been saying a whole lot of that too, and quite frankly, from the performances we've seen most of the season, I'm not going to deny. Johnson and Gibbs White walking to our side. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're pure goal scorers. The Blues, get out of here. That just means that they're a little bit less shit than our players.
Yeah, but that's what we need.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I'm not saying I wouldn't have them. I'm just saying, like, I'm not pretending like your argument was Forrest have these goal scorers. No, not really. I mean,
don't have anyone.
We've seen McNeil be able to score a goal and nick a goal. I'm not saying I would.
Yeah, but in a 38 game campaign, one goal here, it does not make.
How many goals do the Forest guys have?
Couldn't tell you.
It's just not many. Forest have struggled to score. Doesn't matter. This is a stupid argument. I'm just saying, like, both teams are shit, and the fact is they got a result when they needed it to yesterday, and so I just think it's possible that we can do the same. Again, I've said this for weeks. Every time before the game, this incredible rush of adrenaline and optimism always comes. And, I end up putting a wager in for something stupid like 4-0.
I don't think it's optimism that I'm feeling right now.
Isn't that almost every game? Certainly if it's at home at Goodison night match, I always back us to try and get something from it, whether it's Man United or even Liverpool at home, whatever it is. I always think we've got a chance at home. It's the away form that's dreadful. And we've got to cling on to that today. It's not been amazing the last few games at home. But I think that there's been signs under Dyche where this has kind of turned around. The flip side of this, you could say we could be actually already relegated. If we kept on Lampard, I'm very convinced that we would be down right now based on
we
the
might not have
record
gotten
and the
another
stats.
point with Lampard, yeah.
No, have you seen the stats? Something like
Yeah, but I don't
night.
put that.
Real Madrid was
he's just
included in
he's
that,
just a
which
bad
you're not going to get
manager.
anything from.
Yeah, I don't
He's just
want
not ready for management.
Yeah, no, you're right. We're on the same page.
You know what's so annoying this season? Obviously, we all hate Liverpool with a burning passion, but this season I've actually been supporting them in a few games for the only ever time. And every single time we need them to win a game, they always end up losing. They lost to Leeds back towards the start 2-1. They lost to, was it Southampton as well?
They lost to Wolves. No, they lost to Bournemouth 1-0.
Bournemouth and to
Wolves
as well.
You've been following them very early then,
frustrating.
John. You've been wanting them to win quite early in the season then. Because I think for me, it's only been in the last few games where they've played teams right and around us in the last few weeks that I've been like, okay, not going to watch the game, but if you win, I'm not going to cry.
They did beat Forest last week, although it took them forever to do it.
They did it narrowly. But that's all we need them to do. We don't want Liverpool to win 5-0 every game. We just need them to win and bury these other teams. And look, if we survive, it's all going to be down to these little nuances of these details that, a win here and a 3-2 there and a 1-0 for other teams. It's almost like it's out. We should have been taking it into our hands, but we've not got the quality to make that count. And therefore, we've had to rely on other results to even keep us in the frame. You could say we're second from bottom and in the relegation zone, but then you could also say it's lucky that we've got a chance, because it was on this channel that many of us had almost written off the season, the back end of last year after the World Cup. We were like, we're finished. We're not turning this around. Lampard was still in charge. There's no chance. Everyone was like getting their camping equipment out for end of May, June to try and escape from this whirlwind. We've still got a chance. There's still 6 games. How many are at home? 3?
3 and 3. It's Newcastle, City, and Bournemouth at home, and then away to Brighton, Wolves, and Leicester, Brighton, and Wolves.
How many points do we think we need, guys?
18. No, I'm honestly not sure. Ryan and I came up. We tried to come up the other day with scenarios where 6 points and 34 total could get us through over the line. I think it'll take more than that. There was a quote yesterday. It was after the Forest win that just said something about there's going to be a lot of twists and turns, and I think that's right. We're going to see some very unlikely results from a lot of these teams, in the next few weeks, and so I don't know how many it'll take. I thought yesterday 9 would be more than enough. I thought it would be something like 7. Now it realistically might be 9 because Southampton play Forest. Leicester are looking a little bit better. Leeds are actually looking very poor, but who knows what they can do? They're the ones that actually have the ones that can score goals, but they just can't seem to.
I cannot stress it enough that Everton Leicester is the biggest game since last year. Like this whole season, that is the pinnacle of the season. We need to beat Leicester. And if we beat them, we need to go on to beat Wolves and Bournemouth. And if we beat those three who are around us and they are winnable games, then I reckon we will stay up. But if we don't win those games and we only pick up a point, or we like scrap the other games, Brighton, City, Newcastle, if we get anything from them, they're a bonus. But if we don't beat the other three, then we are done for.
Barry says biggest game since Wimbledon, and honestly, some will agree with you for sure.
Yeah, because you take away the away form. I mean, even though it's Leicester, they kind of, I feel like they just maybe have turned the corner. It's worrying. And then you take that City game away as maybe, all right, we could be optimistic and we could play the low block, but Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland, they're on the pitch. We ain't got a good chance in that game. You see Arsenal getting smashed.
They just
so
unstoppable
let's be
yesterday.
realistic. Where does that leave us? This game and the Bournemouth game. The Bournemouth game's a bit too late in the day to do much. So that Leicester game, everyone agrees that Leicester game on Monday night, they should cancel the World Snooker Final because it isn't important on this occasion. They need to be prioritizing that game. It's awful that they've done both at the same time. It reminds me of when they did the Formula. It was a Formula One race at Silverstone on the same day as the Cricket World Cup final, on the same day as Djokovic against Federer, and I was tearing my hair. Thank God Everton wasn't involved in it, but it was kind of like a nightmare. Anyway, this Leicester game, we haven't got a fox in the box. You know, I really regret that we didn't get Vardy a few years ago. He would have been a really
Was that
good.
supposed to be a pun? The fox talking about Leicester.
Yeah. We haven't got him. I mean, look, how many Calvert-Lewin goals have we got this year? Is it three? 3 goals?
Calvert-Lewin scored 1 this season.
1 goal. Okay.
I mean, he's only played about 12 minutes all season, so
it's our own fault. We said this at the start of the season. We said it halfway through the game, and we said it nearly every weekend. We didn't recruit, and then our main striker got injured, so we've only got ourselves to blame. We're one club. We shouldn't be divided and splitting it all. But it is messy, and it's the board's fault for not recruiting, not outspending. And if we get relegated, then it's their own fault. And there's some members of our channel and of our watchers that think that relegation actually is probably long term the right thing for the club because it will allow a reset. But let's not go there.
Yeah, that'll be. We'll save all this talk for the post match because
I guess people just, Chris. I guess people just preparing themselves for the worst here. People are trying to say, okay, we're down, or
again, this is a pre-match for Newcastle, so we're focused on the game at hand today. So I don't want to dwell on that too much because we still have a game that we're going to be playing in 30 minutes that we still is very winnable.
Well, it shows the importance of it.
What's that? No, I mean, come on, Steve, you're going down the wrong road, mate. I agree. It's massive, absolutely massive. But I think I don't know. I'm not trying to preach positivity by any means. I just think that it's a very winnable game. We will all have a different tone after the game if we get this win, right? And so
yeah, we're all going to be screaming like, "Come on, huge result!"
Oh, it's going to be a reaction. For sure.
I hope we come on and we win 1-0 through a corner or something like that.
Who's scoring? Score predictions, by the way. Get them in the comments. But for you guys, scores and who scores?
Go on, Steve.
Tarkowski 1-0.
I'd love to see it.
Be great.
Can I give 2?
I'll allow it just this once.
Okay, so I'm gonna be on this channel as an football analyst, and with my Everton hat not on my head, I'm gonna say 2-0 to Newcastle.
Okay.
But that's looking at everything. But I do want to say we could get a 1-1 draw out of it. It just depends which team turns up.
So no scenario for a win.
It's hard. My heart is burning for a win, and I cannot explain how much I would love to see Everton win. But I just don't believe that these players have what it takes against Newcastle. If this was against Leicester, I'd be backing us a lot more. But Newcastle coming off the back of demolishing Spurs 6-1, it was 5-0 in 20 minutes. It's going to be a hell of a night.
I've got 2-1 to Everton. I was actually going to say that Isak scores a penalty, but he's not even starting the game, so I'm not sure who will score.
Mason Holgate isn't on the.
And there goes John. He's had enough. He'll be back.
Well, as we say this, the build-up in BT Sport is just starting as well, and there was a lovely panning shot with the lake across Stanley Park towards the park end. That's kind of got the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. And
nice. Get it.
The last game I went to was that hospitality game against Tottenham, and the experience today for me versus that is it couldn't be further apart.
Right.
In terms of, I'm down south. I'm going to watch it on BT Sport. Thankfully, it's going to be on a nice TV with surround, but it's so different from being right behind Dyche with the panorama. When you're sitting, we were sitting right behind Dyche. That the sound, the panoramic atmosphere, and the surround from that position, I just never had it before. And I've sat everywhere in the ground pretty much, including literally behind a post and seeing nothing unless you do that.
Right.
But the atmosphere there, wow, it's amazing. And I think once you cross that white line, it's 11 against 11. And actually, on that note, guys, we got to keep it 11 against 11 by the end of the whistle, because we just shot ourselves in the foot.
Sad that we have to say that, but no, I agree.
Disciplinary, and it's important. So yeah, let's try and keep men on the pitch.
Jazzy, good to see you.
I think another thing is, too many times have the start of the game's gone, the whistle goes, and Everton just aren't there mentally. We need to walk out when the sirens are going, the flags are waving, the fans are screaming. We need to be there ready when we're in the tunnel and before. We need to be mentally switched on, because too many times do we come out and very early on we go behind, and then it's an uphill struggle from there, and we just can't get enough momentum. I think we need to go out, we need to give it our all, and just be there from the get-go.
Well, the last game we kind of showed up for the first half and we were in the game at 1-1, and then we were out the game completely. So, I mean, that can happen as well. That was not the last game. The one before that was a home game.
Or sorry, we're talking about Fulham.
Yeah, that was Fulham at home. We showed up and then we got smashed in the second half. We didn't show up at all in the second half.
Almost, show up both halves, but we need to be switched on and not cut out the silly mistakes, cut out the errors, work as a team, don't waste possession, and just play smart, play it tactical, play it well, which is a lot to ask for. But
I think we do see a Calvert-Lewin goal today at some point. Certainly hope so. And I'll go on record as saying we nick a 2-1 win late. I don't see us getting 2 clean sheets in a row, although that would be
we all see it as being quite tight. Yeah, we see it as being quite tight. And someone says that we're going to batter them. I think it's actually Jazz, but I think the battering is going to happen on County Road with that fish, that MSC fish sourced cod. But I think that this is going to be a close call, on the basis that we never see that 6-1, 5-0, 4-1 type result 2 in a row. And I think it's because lessons do get learned, and I think they will cross the line with commitment. I bloody hope we do. How much of it is hope and how much of it is like...
There's a lot riding on hope. But again, if you look at the comments, I said it before, but Premier League's best defence against the Premier League, or the 92's worst attack, away winning a clean sheet.
It was, John, I'm just starting to bite my nail.
Yeah,
starting to... When have you seen me bite my nails on camera? Never. I keep them short because I play the piano, so I'm not a guitarist. Where you need.
Also, Paul King says, as a Newcastle fan, just be aware Isaac is not injured. Eddie sometimes save him for the second half when his pace and pressing is more effective against.
As an Isak owner for the last 5 or 6 weeks in fantasy football, I agree. He saves him for late, unfortunately. But
it was me that raised the unfortunate stat that there's a 52 goal swing between these sides, but I don't think it matters on this particular occasion. All that matters is trying to keep that game tight, and I think we can nick a goal, but I think it's going to be men behind the ball. I think Newcastle are going to dictate this game here. We're not going to be taking the game to them. We should, because the best way to counter it is to try and win this game, and then settle for the fact that maybe we scored 2 and it's not enough and it's a draw. But I've got a feeling that we're going to be men behind the ball.
I'm shitting myself.
Everton 4-0. I'm getting more optimistic as the stream goes on. Everton 4-0. Boys, I think I'll wrap this up because I want to get a brew on and just mentally prepare for this. Anything else to say before we go?
Just that Michael Owen and Jolyon Lescott are part of the pundit team on Sky Sports. And Owen came out with a funny comment the other day, and I don't know what he's got to come out with today, but he's off his trolley. He comes up with some shit.
Final comments from me. Just say that Everton fans need to do what we do best. Stay behind the team, be vocal, be loud, be present, and we need the team to pull through and play for the shirt. And that's it, really.
Every tackle, every ball. Don't boo players when they come on the pitch. I don't care what you think of them. Get behind the team if they're wearing a blue shirt. Support them no matter what, even Neil Mope. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate the viewership as always. Someone's asked me earlier if we would do a watch along. Quite frankly, I don't know if my emotions can handle doing a watch along today, so I will pass. I'm not ruling it out one day. I just think today might not be that day. Nonetheless, if you're at the ground or around the ground, please be safe just in case things go a little bit south, because it will get, I think it's going to get ugly if we see a bad result today, but I don't even want to think about it. 1-0, 2-1, whatever it is, just win at all costs. Like and subscribe. I know I said it already, but we really appreciate you guys for doing that. And we will be here for the post match. I think I'll probably be joined by either one or both of you guys as well. And so, hey, see you in a little while. Up the Toffees.
Up the Toffees.
See you guys.